Hey there, gorgeous. My name is Melissa, and I am also known as the Taropist, and I am going to be your tarot card reader. Guys, we are going to do a full-sized love reading today for the collective audience. This can resonate for any placement of any zodiac sign at any time, and it can be anywhere from single to married and anywhere in between, just whomever you have on that beautiful mind of yours. Guys, anything that you would ever need to know about me, again, I am the Taropist. You can find either in the description box below, the channel description, or my community tab. You can certainly always check out my website, which is www.theterapist.com. Guys, that's not what I was saying. I am currently closed for Zoom and FaceTime readings. However, I am still open for pre-recorded and email personal readings, and those are all listed again in the description box below, as well as the email address and the PayPal and Cash App that you would need to either make the payment and send the questions to. Okay. And I think that's about it for that. The structure of the reading, by the way, the most powerful way for me to pick up on your personal energy, I do channel energy, is for you to purchase a personal reading. However, if you're uninterested or unable to at this time for any reason purchase a personal reading, but you would like me to pick up on your personal situation and energies in my collective readings, then do make sure that you are engaging with the channel in some way. This is how you will be able to transfer your energy here onto the channel and into the readings, letting the universe know that you are engaged and that you are paying attention and you're ready for the message, whatever messages it is that you're looking for here on YouTube. So again, always set those intentions as well when you are engaging with the channel in some way. Make sure that you're sending your intentions out into the universe. Any questions that you might want answered or things like that, so that we can hopefully get those things answered for you in the collective readings. Okay, guys. Again, some easy ways that you can engage are by liking or commenting on any of the videos or community tab posts. You can certainly always share any of my content. And my personal favorite, and I think the most powerful way for me to pick up on your personal energy in my collective readings is by you hitting the little subscribe button below. Okay. If you are going to subscribe to the channel and you would like to be notified when I do upload in the future or go live, make sure that you set your notifications to all. Okay. Let's get rocking. We are going to start out with these dream guidance love messages to get an overall feeling of the relationship that we're working with here, situationship, whatever this is. Usually, sometimes this can be marriage, like I said, and there's just we're having a hard time communicating in the third dimension or in a physical form. So we're thinking about it, but we're not able to speak to each other about it either because of a fear of rejection, or a fear of vulnerability or intimacy or whatever it is. Okay. And sometimes it's somebody that we've had our eyes on, but we've never even spoken to. So we'll just see what kind of situation we're working with here. And we have hard to let you go, or hard to let go of you. That's been coming out a lot. So that does feel like some sort of separation. Now, that doesn't mean that you had to be in an actual relationship for this to feel like a separation. This can certainly feel like something that started, or like, let me just explain when I say started. It doesn't mean that there was any actual physical communication. Some sort of, I'm getting like a very, that powerful pull to somebody. And with no, I want to say there was no, let me see, I regret how I mistreated you. Okay, so I want to say that, okay, hard to let go of you, and I regretted I mistreated you. We're going to just get more before I go into too much of that detail. But what was I just saying? No, because it feels like this. Well, I'm just going to say this doesn't have to be this situation in particular, but it does, like, these are likely to pick up on a situation where there was this very powerful connection or feeling between the two people, but never any actual communication about that feeling, right? That happens a lot in these readings because, we've gotten some bad advice. If I'm being honest with you, a lot of our problems today in relationships and communicating with people that we are interested in is the bad advice we were given by people who had no idea what love was. Okay. So don't text first. Don't text too soon. These are all great pointers if you're looking for a piece of ass. But if you're looking for love, you're going to need to be transparent, vulnerable, communicative. Okay. These are things that are required in a real love situation. Okay. They're non-negotiables. Let's find out more. I'm obsessed with you. And this song, it does keep coming through, and I didn't just hear it. So I got my eyes on you is coming through. Oh. I'm gonna get one more here, and then, or maybe not. We're just gonna maybe see what's on the bottom. It says it's a life lesson for both of us. And I want to say that the life lesson can be, and by the way, these pulls, these magnetic pulls, they can happen with anything and anyone. Um, but most of the time, the magnetic pull is trying to tell you something about yourself. Well, it's not most of the time. This is in any situation. These are including triggers and things like that. Anything that you feel deeply in the core of you is always trying to teach you something about you. So when you feel a very like a magnetic pull towards somebody, there's either a lesson or I want to say a message that that person has for you, or there is a lesson for you. So I want to say that this lesson feels like a need of to communicate, because I can't stop talking about that vulnerably. Okay, so basically, sometimes when you feel that magnetic draw to somebody, and I've had this happen before, and then you transparently and vulnerably communicate those feelings to that person, even if you don't think that those feelings are reciprocated or whatever the case may be, the actual pull is relieved or released once you've communicated. So the pull itself necessarily isn't to the person, it's to the reality that you're abandoning yourself by not communicating your feelings truly because you're afraid of something. Okay. Doesn't matter if the person that you're not communicating to is even it for you. Okay. The lesson is in you not being able to communicate clearly. So our throat chakra being healed. And again, anytime we're living a life that we feel like we can't be true to ourselves in, there's going to be a lot of different karmic lessons that come our way in the form of relationships, to see if we would abandon ourselves for others or to receive validation or whatever it is. So that's what I'm getting here. But we're going to find out more. And that doesn't mean that this relationship isn't meant to be. But let's find out. So whatever it is that you're feeling right now is going to be relieved one way or the other if you communicate it clearly. Okay, by you being literally released from that, because again, the real pain came from you abandoning yourself, not from not having this person. Or again, you do have a true connection with this person, you communicate clearly and you receive their affection in return. Okay, I want to say, so let's find out more. You cannot lose when you communicate clearly, and when you stop abandoning yourself in all areas of your life. Okay. So I want to say it's the person that you're interested in that is feeling magnetically drawn to you. You are feeling very magnetic at this time. You certainly could be an Aries or any fire sign, but Aries is what this card represents. And you could be any sign, of course, any zodiac sign here. And just you could have heavy, I want to say 8th house or Scorpio placements, because she always gives me Scorpio vibes too, but it does represent the sign of Aries. And by the way, they are both ruled by Mars. So it's not very shocking that they have some similar energies. But well, and Scorpio is also ruled by the planet Pluto, but also by Mars. So um, your energy is like the most magnetically attractive card in the entire. I would say this and the Empress probably are the two most. But there's something a little more out loud about the Queen of Wands. I don't even know if I've said the Queen of Wands yet, but that's the card that's here. There's something a little more out loud or less. I don't want to say humble, because there's no need to be humble in this energy. It was like really gorgeous again. And I don't feel like you're just attracting this person. I feel like you're attracting a lot of people. And then we do have the King of Swords, which is making a lot of sense for the energy that I'm talking about here. This is somebody who is really good, by the way, with communicating about things that are logical. Probably the best communicator card in the entire tarot here would be the King of Swords. However, when it comes to love, this guy does feel like he is not in his element. And so this person, male, female, non-binary, doesn't matter which genders these are, even though that shows a queen and that shows a king. We all do have both masculine and feminine energies here. And this is actually sitting in this feminine energy, although it's fire and that does represent the masculine too. But there is like this where she just sits and attracts nothing. She doesn't have to ask for anything. She gets everything she needs by way of people wanting to give it to her, male, female, non-binary, doesn't matter. It's like there is the energy so good that everybody wants to be in it, around it. And again, like I'm watching people give you things. I don't know what that could mean. You could actually receive a lot of gifts, but certainly you are receiving a lot of attention, and some of it you don't even know you're receiving. And then this King of Swords, somebody who has had an eye on you. And I did get that song for you. Okay. I want to say somebody that has had an eye on you. I don't know what your connection is in the third dimension. There could be zero connection here, by the way. This could be somebody who is viewing you online if you do have a platform in the public eye here. But I do feel like you have a lot more attention than you know you have at this time, regardless of if that's in the public eye or not. I feel like there are a lot of people paying close attention to you at this time. This particular person, I think, observing some of that attention that you're receiving, but more importantly, I'm watching this person who is, by the way, like one of the most brilliant cards in the entire tarot as well. Just so powerful and so brilliant in every single way, except for that department where the emotions get involved. And I do feel like he's feeling them, by the way. I don't think that this is saying this person isn't feeling emotions. I just feel like this is saying this person may even have communicated something to you, nothing to do with the way that they're feeling about you. They're having a hard time deciphering what this is because, again, they've never had this kind of magnetism before. They keep things very surface level or very logical. And we're going to get a potential outcome. Oh, the Five of Pentacles. And then we do have the Queen of Swords and the overarching energy. Again, it feels, I don't know if this is love or if this is somebody feeling very magnetically drawn to you because you have a message for them. Because I think I did go into that spiel originally where not all of these magnetic pulls are actually meant to be romantic situations or turn into anything romantic. Some of them are because we have a message, and some of them are just because this person needs to heal their throat chakra when it is in regards to their emotions. Okay, because they communicate so well in every other way in their life. They're able to delegate and even dictate very powerfully, but not they have not had a lot of experience with they haven't had a lot of experience with feeling emotion, by the way. It's not just that they haven't had to communicate them. It's just that they haven't had them to communicate. I hope that makes sense. That's what's coming through. So now that they're feeling these things that they've not felt before, they aren't sure how to communicate it. And again, because they're so good at communicating, it makes it an even stickier situation for them. The Four of Wands here, and the Knight of Pentacles. We do have Aquarius, by the way, Virgo and Libra, as well as Aries. You got 4 court cards out of the 6 cards out here. And then that does give me that same similar energy that I was talking to you about earlier. While I think you might have your eye on this person, there are a lot of people that have their eye on you. And I guess it's fucking mowing day or whatever. The lawn care is here. Sorry about that if you can hear that, but I'm going to keep going. So the Four of Wands is a card of completion. It's the minor arcana version of the World card. So a very similar energy, maybe on a smaller scale because it isn't a major arcana, but it talks about a completion or an up leveling of some sort where you must have kind of taken some sort of, well, that's what I want to say. You've raised your frequency. And so you're attracting a lot more than you're even aware of. I want to say there's a lot of humility here as well, which I don't always get. I think I said earlier something about you not being humble. And it's not like this is what I'm going to say. It's because you're not consciously being humble. You just have no idea, is what the energy that's coming through is like. It's not like you know that you're getting a lot of attention or you have a lot of people paying attention. It's like you don't even know, is what the energy that's coming through. So that is coming with a feeling of humility or something like that. Well, I guess that is actual humility. So where you don't need the attention, you don't even think you have it. And I'm just getting a lot of people that are wanting to offer you something that came through earlier for you. And then I did get the Knight of Pentacles here, which looks like it's offering. The Knights are always representing action regardless. Although this Knight in particular, as you can see, it might be the only Knight of all the Knights that isn't moving. So most of them have a leg up and they're taking a step. But this still does represent action because it is a knight and that's what they represent. This one in particular, the Knight of Pentacles, does represent slow and methodical action. Okay. I want to say that's why you're so attractive at this time. And we do have the Five of Cups. Okay. Because there is something about you not communicating very, um, I don't want to, well, let me just get more on the person that you have on your mind. Yeah, that's exactly what I say. I'm saying like this person is being patient. I want to say because this person isn't sure of their emotions and I want to say they usually do take the lead, but I don't know if they're unwilling to necessarily. I don't think that they know how to communicate how they're feeling. I don't think that they know how to understand how they're feeling, let alone communicate it clearly. The 5 of Cups, I kind of skipped over it because it's a tough energy. It does talk about a need to kind of stop focusing on something from the past here. And it could be this relationship, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels, because I do feel like this is not a relationship or has never been a relationship. There is something, and I want to say, remember when I had said something about being vulnerable and communicating clearly without, I think this person is having a hard time not only being aware of their feelings, or understanding their feelings, but communicating with you. But it feels like you might be using this, what's the right word here? Methodical. It's like you're getting lost in the method or something like that. I hope that makes sense for you in the strategy. So while strategy can be helpful in a lot of areas of our life, sometimes when you over strategize or overthink something, you kind of skip over the meat of the situation or something like that. I'm not really sure what that means, and I don't know what this 5 of Cups represents. In fact, because it's like I'm getting something from your past that you still need to heal from or need to stop focusing on. It might be something you've already healed from, but there might be something about you knowing how things have turned out in the past causing you to take no action towards this situation. I hope that makes sense. Because I'm having a little hard time clearing up the last 2 cards in your energy here. Okay, because you are so magnetic at this time, but I want to say that's part of it. So the reason why you are so magnetic, I think, is because you just are kind of oblivious to the attention that you're receiving, and not just oblivious, uninterested in attention at this time. So there's something about the 5 of Cups being the reason why you're uninterested in attention. And possibly even, I want to say there's something to do with your popularity causing problems for you in the past. Okay. Something about the way that you attract people, and you always have just been a very charismatic, very attractive person, very charming. By the way, you'll get bad information out on the interwebs here about how that can be a bad thing. And while I think somebody using their charm to receive things and use people is not good, having a charming personality is not a character defect. Okay, it's some of us were born with, and then of course people that watch somebody who's very charming and receiving a lot of attention for that. That does not is not a charming person. They may give bad information to the universe or to the people out in the universe that is a bad trait to have, charisma or charm. Let's just keep on going. So I want to say there's something about in your past, your being very charming has caused a lot of jealousy or envy around you. So you're afraid to be too charming or attractive, but there is a need to be who you are. Okay. So, and that absolutely can be somebody, if you have, I want to say Leo anywhere highly aspected in your chart, Aries, again, are going to be some very, even Scorpio can be very charismatic. There's a lot of different signs and placements that can be very charismatic here. But I'm getting that you have gotten a lot of jealousy and envy attracted in by way of them, your charisma. A lot of people who aren't charismatic or are afraid to be charismatic, by the way. This could also just be people who are just as charismatic as you, but are afraid to be because maybe they've been shamed for it. Now they're shaming you or whatever it is. There's something that needs to be healed here around your ability to attract and not being afraid to shine. Okay, something about that is coming in for you. And then your person got the World card. So they have the King of Swords, and we already went over that. That's a very, like, again, one of the most intelligent cards in the entire tarot deck here, but not a very emotional card. So the swords represent thought and a logical way of being or thinking or doing things rather than acting on emotion. And but I am getting that this person has a lot of emotion for you. Again, I just don't think that they've communicated that clearly. And there's something about them seeing the attention that you're receiving, but you're not even seeing it or something like that. And that's making them even more skeptical, thinking that maybe there isn't really even a connection here. Maybe that you're just a very charismatic and charming person. Okay, something like that. By the way, I want to say that even though you are these things, you have dimmed that shine for quite a while. And it's like you can't hide it. I'm watching it kind of like peek out, anyways. There's no hiding this kind of energy that you exude, by the way, because I don't know what the fuck I just said there, but by the way, it's also because you don't even have to do anything. You just have an energy that exudes this without you doing or saying anything. You just have a very powerful and very attractive energy about you. Okay. And I didn't even talk about the Queen of Swords. I do feel like going back to that because that is your overarching energy. You do have the King and the Queen of Swords here, so a divine pair or something like that. But again, a not very. It's like when I keep wanting to say not very communicative. They are the most communicative court cards out there, probably. But again, when they communicate, they do it by way of facts, science, and logic. And then dealing with emotions aren't their strong suit. So it doesn't mean they don't have any. It just means that's not their expertise or their area of expertise. Okay, so your person here does have this King of Swords and then two major arcanas, the Strength card, which does represent the sign of Leo, by the way. You could certainly be a Leo or have Leo highly aspected in your chart. I am getting that energy on you, or a lot of fifth house placements. And this person could be as well, by the way. Anyways, I don't feel like it, though. I do feel like they are an air sign of some sort, or have maybe at least an air moon. They could be an Aquarius, Gemini, or a Libra moon. Libra is in your overarching energy. And again, the Queen of Swords is a very similar energy to the King of Swords, but a little softer of an energy. Maybe softer isn't the right word. Because I'm watching the King of Swords kind of deal with things very matter of factly, and the Queen of Swords does this as well. But when she does this, it can sting a little more. Like the way she says things is a little harsher. And I said she's softer. She is softer, but for some reason, when she says something, it hits a little deeper, and I don't know exactly what that means. It's a possibility that you've said something to this person that made them think that the feelings weren't reciprocated. I don't know exactly what that means. They do keep an eye on you. That's all I can tell you. As I already said, that song came through for you, and I'm obsessed with you. And I do feel like it's this person that is feeling this way towards you. But again, it's like you're afraid to shine too brightly because of the way that that has caused a lot of negative attention in your past. Okay. The World card and the Strength card. And we're going to go back and forth until I get all this figured out. But the Strength card here is a sign of spiritual strength, or a patience is actually the right word for that, where things just need to fall into place in divine time here. And there is no controlling the situation. I do want to say, though, communication, while we don't get to choose anyone's response to our communication is needed here, and clear, and what's the right word? Authentic, vulnerable communication is what is needed in this energy. So then we do have the World card, which is what I said, the major arcana version of that Four of Wands. And it talks about a completion, or a cycle completing, or a need to complete this cycle. The cycle coming to an end, some sort of completion happening here. And I don't believe that it's like you guys are ending. Although that could be a scenario where, the World card could mean, it certainly always means a new beginning, because anytime a completion occurs in our lives, it does lead to some sort of new beginning. But let me find out what more in the outcome here, because the Five of Pentacles, well, let's talk about this Page of Swords, by the way, is a card of curiosity. So I do feel like you've struck a very curious, that this person's curious nature. And I do want to say that this other person is the masculine, because I am getting like that chase energy, that hunter energy that is like coming up inside of them, but they're trying to suppress it. And we're going to get some more on the outcome. So this can also mean, because it is swords, that this person keeps an eye on you. I want to say studies you, and it's not in a creepy way. It feels, the energy is sweet, because it's like they're shocked by their own feelings, or need to be curious here, right? So this person might have even judged others for watching people online, or this. So, because, well, I don't want to say myself, I get like, I don't understand why people go adding people on social media that they don't like, right? Or follow people they don't like just to see what they're up to. So I'm getting that this person is like that. They're just like, well, what the fuck would I ever want? Why would I care about anybody I don't want in my life, right? So they may have judged people for being like kind of even they do like they're not going to go check your social media to see it, right? Usually, but you have them doing that. And I feel like it's very against the way that they've always been. And they're feeling very outside of themselves. Again, there's just this energy of, while they're not necessarily a wear their heart on their sleeve kind of person, it's not that they don't have emotions. In fact, I feel like they're a very caring person that helps a lot of people or has always been there for people, but they just haven't felt anything personally in their like heart chakra area where they feel so drawn to somebody magnetically. It's causing some insecurities in them. And again, a feeling I'm getting of neglect or abandonment. And it does feel like what I was talking about earlier, that feeling of that magnetic draw. The truth is, it's not they're feeling abandoned by you. It's that they're abandoning themselves, and these feelings that they're feeling is the energy that I'm getting here. And this could be what's causing this Five of Cups energy as well here, because the person that you feel so attracted to, and I do feel like you feel this for them as well. It does feel very mutual. Is not being communicative about their feelings towards you. So I feel like it's causing you to think that that's your problem, right? There's something wrong with you, or the way that you are so charming, or that scares people, and it could, by the way, and it could scare off a potential mate if the potential mate wasn't actually for you and wasn't strong enough to handle this energy that you exude. By the way, I did skip over this earlier because they're saying that you have a very small circle, right? So you don't, while you might attract a lot of attention, you don't let a lot of people into your energy, to your, um, what is this? Vicinity? No, your circle. That's what they're saying here. So this person is observing all of this, by the way, and they're recognizing now. I think, again, because you got a lot of attention, or a lot of people that wanted to be in your energy, a lot of the time they thought that you just had a lot of people in your life. That can be intimidating for somebody, especially if they think they have a connection with you, but their connection isn't valid, or it's not reciprocated, is actually the energy that I'm getting here. Which does kind of give, I feel like they've been abandoning themselves by not being communicative about the way that they're feeling. So communication here could really clear everything up. Again, it could just clear up that this is or isn't even for you. Because once we do communicate clearly and stop abandoning ourselves, things do start to kind of, it's like the stagnation is released or relieved. The King of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords. By the way, I just keep getting cards here, but I'm not done with the card previous. So the Five of Pentacles, a card of abandonment. Again, I get that either the one, he or she or them, has abandoned themselves, but I get that you are as well, because of your fear of the way that your charisma or your light has caused others to feel negatively towards you, or hate on you, or envious of you, or jealous of you, or whatever this is. And I want to say, by the way, that if you are a female, you even get that from men who are interested in you. That kind of, once they think that you're not interested back, they kind of get almost competitive or jealous, envious, or something like that, and start to even try to dim your shine, is the energy that I'm getting here. And I'm getting also, if you are a female, that you've had that with a lot of different women, where they maybe even befriend you originally and then try to dim your shine slowly. So this means like, ooh, are you going to wear that today? When you wear something very bold and like you, something like that. A lot of backhanded compliments, a lot of frenemies, a lot of people who want to be in your energy, but they don't have they're not in the energy they want to be in. So they want to dim your shine or something like that. And so I'm getting that lovers as well has happened, where maybe you weren't interested in them, but people who are romantically interested in you then turning on you and becoming kind of envious and dimming your shine, and maybe kind of trying to, I don't, what's this, like, where you're maybe very good at something and they try to downplay or down talk what you kind of what you do, or the way you show up in the world, or something like that. Again, because their own insecurities are triggered, and then they want you to come down to the level that they're feeling, this rejection, this abandonment, something like that. By the way, I feel like it's worked for a lot of your life. The King of Pentacles is a card of stability. And then we did get the Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of that deck, another card of stability and a foundation that is solid here. And so while it might seem like things aren't moving very quickly or in the right direction here, things are moving, or we're moving towards a more stable foundation by way of kind of clearing up any of this energy that we hadn't healed from or even recognized previous to either, this reading, or In general, I'm sure that the divine has been showing you a lot of ways or areas where you are still protecting yourself. And by the way, what it's like, I'm getting a quote from like a guy here on YouTube, but it's like, the same walls that you put up to protect you are the same walls that are keeping like the true love of your life out, or something like that. Okay. I hope that makes sense. But this is saying here that we're working on that. That's all being worked out here. We're working on not abandoning ourselves any longer. It's like whatever you're feeling internally is valid, and it's worth validating, and it's worth communicating. But when you are afraid that either the feelings aren't reciprocated, or like I'm getting like this trapped energy. So the Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restriction here. And it talks about how our own thoughts or our own mind can keep us trapped in a situation, or keep us from moving forward in a situation because of these fears that we have. These are valid. The fears are valid as well, by the way, because we have had experiences in our past where we were trying to be ourselves out loud, or communicate clearly, or be very charismatic, exuberant is coming through. And then again, these things have impacted our connections negatively, or have had people react negatively to our energy. So then we feel like it's a character defect, or something's wrong with that about us. But so this is all like a whole reading about us no longer abandoning who we truly are to make others comfortable. It's like, don't dim your shine so others are comfortable, or something like that. So the Eight of Swords is another card of feeling like we are trapped in a situation that we're not trapped in. So that we're overthinking a situation, or we're letting that our past experiences dictate our current opportunities. And then we get the King of Pentacles, which is a card of stability. It does feel like in the end here, if we can listen to our intuition and not the external noise that might be coming in, including those who have tried to dim our shine in the past, or have tried to make us feel like something's wrong with the way that we are, or our ability to attract, or something like that, or attracting others. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, again, what I want to say is that there are, because I think you might have seen people using that ability to attract for negative things. And our gifts can be used for both good and evil, right? I want to say that um, that you never did use your ability to attract people, places, and things into your life to your advantage. Of course, I think that being strategic in life, and getting where we want to go by way of what am I trying to say here? Because they're saying they're like, even that isn't always a bad thing when you're attracting opportunities, and people want to give you opportunities because of your good energy. This is not something that you should reject because you're afraid of looking like or being like people who are just simply using that energy to use people for things. I'm like getting like, leave them high and dry after they've gotten what they want. That's not the kind of person that you are. However, the reason that you haven't been shining so brightly, or you don't know you've been shining so brightly, by the way, it's like you can't hide it even though you're trying to, um is because you're afraid of becoming like those people that you've seen using that energy that it keeps coming through as exuberant energy to get what they want, by the way, not their needs met, even. It's like to get what they want. And again, then we do have the High Priestess here. This represents the sign of Cancer. It can also represent Virgo or Pisces. And I'm not 100% sure why. It represents the moon, which is the ruler over the sign of Cancer. So we do have Cancer here, Taurus, any earth sign really, Leo, any fixed sign here. And then we do have Aries. I did get Scorpio, even though Scorpio is not out here. We do have Virgo again, and Libra. Could be any signs, you guys, but it's ultimately saying that the two of you are going through just a process. The process is processing, and we are coming into a very solid foundation, but we're ironing out the kinks is the energy that's coming through. So working through some of our fears here, working through some of our own self-abandonment. So we abandon ourselves when we're afraid of being rejected. We just don't go for what it is that we want in this lifetime, which is, I think, obviously, regret is worse than rejection. So once we stop abandoning ourselves and start going for the opportunities that we see, that we feel called to go for, um, again, you're either released from that magnetic pull that you're feeling towards the situation, or you get the, clear and vulnerable communication is either going to get you the guy, right? The girl, whatever it is, or it's going to release you from the magnetic pull that you feel towards that person because you stopped abandoning yourself. I hope that this all makes sense for you because it feels like a very powerful connection here. And not only does it feel like a powerful connection, it feels like two powerful people who have had to go through a lot of different karmic lessons. And I am getting like this Saturn energy just because it took a long time. By the way, this is a slow moving energy as well. Any pentacles are, just because it took a long time. Um, well, I want to say because it took a long time, it is going to last a lifetime, is what the energy that's coming through here. And again, it's ultimately about the two of you learning how to trust your intuition, trust that you know that this connection is real, valid, and genuine, or at least that your feelings are, like I said. So even if this connection doesn't come in, which it does feel like it will eventually here, our ability to stop abandoning the way that we truly feel about this person by communicating clearly without this fear of rejection or this feeling that we're trapped will either release us from that feeling, that magnetic draw, because again, that magnetism could just be our own abandoning of our own feelings, and it feels painful and like we want this or need this or something like that. But the real feeling, it's in our core, and it is of us abandoning ourselves. So as soon as this communication occurs, we'll be released from that magnetic feeling. By the way, that doesn't mean that the passion will be gone. That will still be there if the connection is real. And if it's not real, then we'll be released from that feeling because we stopped abandoning ourselves. I hope that this makes sense for you. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button. Ooh, that got to be very long. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next reading.